The universe wants you to hear this message today. There are moments when life itself seems to whisper through the hush of the wind, the rhythm of the waves, the silence between heartbeats. We live in a world of divine patterns, a vast and intricate tapestry where nothing is wasted and nothing is without meaning. The trials you face, the quiet seasons of waiting, the unanswered questions, they are not voids, but verses in a song too grand for us to hear all at once. You were not placed here by accident. The very stars that burn in the heavens are echoes of the same fire placed within you. And just as the tide knows when to rise and the sun when to set, there is a timing to your unfolding. Do not mistake silence for absence or struggle for abandonment. You are moving within a story far older than time, written by hands that do not make mistakes. Before the foundations of the earth were laid, before the stars were scattered across the heavens, before time itself began its relentless march forward, you were known, you were seen, you were intended. There is no randomness in the hands that form the galaxies, no accident in the shaping of your soul. You are not here by chance. You are not a fleeting moment in an indifferent universe. You are part of something far greater than you can comprehend. Think about it. How can a universe so vast, so precise in its workings, operate with purpose in every detail except in you? The tides know their rhythm. The planets hold to their orbits. The seasons come and go in their perfect order. And yet, the world will tell you that your life is an accident, that you are adrift in a sea of meaninglessness. But that is not the truth. You are spoken into existence with a purpose, with a calling, with a story that only you can live out. Look at your own life. Consider the twists and turns, the doors that have opened and closed, the people who have entered at just the right time. There is a pattern, even if you cannot always see it. Some moments have felt like divine appointments, encounters too perfect to be coincidence, opportunities too precise to be random. And yet there are other moments, aren't they? Moments where the path was unclear, where the silence of waiting felt unbearable. Maybe you've questioned if you've been forgotten, if your life truly matters. But listen to me. No thread in the grand design is ever wasted. No life is ever without meaning. The same God who placed the stars in the sky placed something within you, a spark, a longing, a deep knowing that you were made for more than mere existence. That is why no amount of success, no pleasure, no earthly treasure ever fully satisfies. Because you were not made for the temporary. You were made for something eternal. And that longing in your heart, it is the whisper of the divine calling you home, reminding you that you are not alone. You may say, but I've made mistakes. I've taken wrong turns. Surely I have drifted too far. No, my friend, nothing is wasted in the hands of the one who formed you. Every detour, every heartbreak, every unanswered question is being woven into something greater. Even now, when you feel lost, you are being guided. Even now, when you cannot see the road ahead, you are being led. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers, cast into a pit, sold into slavery. Think of Moses, a man who fled in fear, believing his purpose had passed him by. Think of David, a forgotten shepherd boy, overlooked by the world but chosen by God. Their journeys were not easy. They were filled with moments of doubt, of silence, of struggle. But the one who called them never abandoned them. He was working behind the scenes, preparing them for something greater. And the same is true for you. You are here in this moment for a reason, not because of luck, not because of coincidence, but because the Creator of all things willed it to be so. You are not an accident. Your life is not random. You were placed here at this time in this world with a purpose that is uniquely yours. So do not despair. Do not believe the lie that you are insignificant. The very breath in your lungs is proof that your story is not finished. And if you are still here, it means your purpose is still unfolding. You were seen before you ever took your first breath. You were loved before you ever spoke your first word. and you were chosen to walk this path, not by chance, but by divine design. There comes a time in every life when the silence feels overwhelming, when the prayers seem to rise no higher than the ceiling, when the heavens appear closed and the only answer you receive is quiet. You've been waiting for direction, waiting for change, waiting for a sign that you are not alone. And in that waiting, doubt begins to whisper, maybe nothing is coming. Maybe I've been forgotten. Maybe this silence means I've lost my way. But my friend, the silence you fear is not emptiness. It is not absence. It is preparation. Think of the seed buried beneath the earth. It is hidden, pressed down by the weight of the soil, unseen by the world above. If you knew nothing of how growth works, you might look at that seed and think it had been abandoned, left to wither in the dark. But you and I know better. That seed is not dead. It is in the process of becoming, and so are you. The world has taught us to fear stillness. It tells us that if things are not moving, if doors are not opening, if we cannot see progress, then nothing is happening. But that is not how the universe works. That is not how God works. The most profound transformations often take place in the quiet, beneath the surface, where no eye can see. The caterpillar does not struggle in the cocoon because it is being punished. It struggles because it is being chained. And yet, when we find ourselves in these seasons of waiting, we assume the worst. We think God has stopped speaking, that our prayers have been ignored. But I want you to hear me. God is never silent. He may not be speaking in the way you expect, but he is speaking in the stillness. He is working in the delay. He is preparing you for what comes next. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before he was called to lead. Joseph spent years in prison before he stepped into his destiny. Even Jesus himself was hidden away in obscurity before his ministry began. If God took his time with them, why do you think he would rush his work in you? Maybe you feel like you're in a holding pattern. Maybe you've been waiting so long that you're tempted to give up. But I want you to know this. Delay is not denial. Silence is not rejection. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. Have you ever watched an artist at work? A sculptor doesn't begin by revealing the final masterpiece. He begins by chipping away at the stone. The hammer strikes, the dust flies, and for a while it looks like destruction. But it is not destruction. It is creation. The form is being shaped. The beauty is being uncovered. The masterpiece is emerging. And so it is with you. The silence is not there to discourage you. It is there to teach you. It is in the stillness that faith is strengthened. It is in the waiting that trust is built. And it is in the quiet places that God does his deepest work. So do not fear the silence. Do not despise the waiting. A season of stillness is not a season of abandonment. The seed will break through the soil, the cocoon will open, the masterpiece will be revealed. And when it does, you will understand that the silence was never empty, it was full of purpose. The waiting is not wasted, the quiet is not void, and the silence is not the end of your story. It is simply the pause before the music begins. Life has a way of bringing us to our knees. The storms come suddenly, without warning, the phone call in the middle of the night, the unexpected loss, the dream that shatters right before our eyes. And in those moments we ask, why? Why this pain? Why this trial? Why now? It is hard to understand suffering when you're standing in the middle of it, when the winds are howling, when the waves are crashing, when everything you've built feels like it's falling apart. But I want you to listen to me. Your pain is not meaningless. Your struggles are not random. The trials you face are not the end of your story. They are movements in the great symphony of your life. Think of a song. A beautiful, powerful, soul-stirring song is not made up of just one note, one melody, one sound. It rises and falls. It has moments of soaring triumph and moments of aching sorrow. And the same is true of your journey. If life were nothing but ease, nothing but comfort, nothing but sunlight, it would be flat and empty. The depth, the richness, the meaning of life comes through the contrast. The dark against the light, the sorrow against the joy, the struggle that makes the victory so much sweeter. I know it doesn't feel that way when you are in the middle of it. It's hard to see beauty in the chaos, hard to trust that something good can come from something broken. But I promise you, the composer has not lost control of the music. Even the moments that seem like discord, the seasons that feel like they don't belong, are being woven into a masterpiece. Look at history. Look at the lives of those who have walked before you. There is not one great story that is free from struggle. There is not one person who has done something meaningful who did not first walk through the fire. Joseph was betrayed by his own family, sold into slavery, thrown into prison for years before he saw his purpose revealed. David was hunted, hiding in caves, running for his life before he became king. Even Jesus himself walked a road of suffering before the glory came. And if their stories were shaped by struggle, why would we expect ours to be any different? You see, struggle is not proof that you are abandoned. It is proof that you are being refined. You are being strengthened. You are being prepared for something greater than you can see right now. A blacksmith does not forge a sword by gently laying it on a table. He places it in the fire again and again until it glows with heat. He hammers it, strikes it, shapes it, refines it, because he knows what it is meant to be. And so it is with you. I know the pain is real. I know the nights are long. I know there are moments when you wonder if you will ever see the other side of this. But hear me, this struggle will not destroy you. It is shaping you. It is deepening you. It is part of the song that is being written through your life. And one day you will look back and see what you could not see in the moment. You will see how the sorrow gave way to joy, how the pain carved out a space for something greater, how the darkest moments were part of the most beautiful story ever told. So hold on, keep going. The song is not over yet, and I promise you, when the final note is played, it will be more beautiful than you ever imagined. Look around you. Look at the world, at the way the rivers carve through mountains, at the way the trees stretch toward the sky, at the way the stars burn with a fire that has traveled across time just to reach your eyes. This universe is not random, it is not chaotic, it is not without meaning. And if all of creation moves with such purpose, then so do you. You are not a spectator in this great unfolding story. You are not standing on the sidelines while life rushes past. You are woven into the fabric of something far greater than you can see. Every heartbeat, every breath, every step you take is part of a vast and intricate design. You belong to it, and it belongs to you. There are moments in life when we feel small, as if we are just drifting, unseen and unimportant. But I want you to hear this. You are not an accident. You were not placed in this moment by chance. The very same power that set the universe into motion, the very same force that commands the seas and paints the sunsets, is the same power that formed you. And not only did it form you, but it called you by name. You may not always feel that way. You may look at your life and see only the ordinary, the routine, the struggles that seem to have no end. But I want you to step back for a moment. Look at your life the way an artist looks at a masterpiece in progress. Up close, it may seem like chaos. Brush strokes of pain, lines of uncertainty, colors that don't seem to make sense. But step back and you will begin to see the pattern, the purpose, the beauty of what is unfolding. Think of a great orchestra. Each instrument plays its own part. Each musician follows a different rhythm. To the untrained ear, it may sound like noise, but in the hands of the composer, it becomes a symphony. And in the same way, your life is not isolated, not disconnected from the whole. You are a part of something greater, a note in a song that stretches across eternity. Maybe you have felt alone. Maybe you have wondered if your life matters. But I want you to understand that there is no such thing as a life without meaning. There is no such thing as a person without purpose. The fact that you are here in this moment listening to these words is proof that you are a part of something bigger than yourself. You were made to love. You were made to give. You were made to shine with a light that no darkness can put out. And the world needs you, not just a version of you that has it all figured out, not just a version of you that is free from mistakes, but you right now, just as you are. Because the truth is, we do not find our purpose by standing still. We do not find our place by waiting for all the answers. We find it when we step forward in faith, when we embrace the role we have been given, when we trust that even the smallest acts of love and kindness ripple out into eternity. And so I ask you, will you embrace the part you have been given? Will you step into the story that is unfolding before you? Will you trust that even when you cannot see the whole picture, you are still a vital piece of the masterpiece? You were never meant to be on the outside looking in. You were made to move, to live, to love, to shine. You are an essential part of the cosmic dance, and it is time to take your place. There is a rhythm to this universe, a divine order, a sacred timing that governs all things. The sun knows when to rise, the tides know when to swell, the seasons shift in their appointed time. And yet, when it comes to our own lives, how often do we doubt the timing of the one who set it all in motion? We want answers now. We want doors to open on our schedule. We want prayers to be answered immediately. And when they aren't, we begin to wonder if we've been forgotten, if our dreams have slipped through our fingers, if what we long for will ever come to pass. But my friend, just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not on its way. Look at the way a tree grows. You plant a seed, and for weeks, for months, it looks as though nothing is happening. But beneath the soil where no eye can see, the roots are stretching deep, anchoring themselves, drawing in strength. If the tree were to sprout too soon, before its roots were ready, it would never survive the storm. But when the time is right, when it is strong enough to stand, it breaks through the earth and reaches for the sky. And so it is with you. Some of you are waiting right now, waiting for a door to open, waiting for a breakthrough, waiting for the answer to a prayer you've whispered 1,000 times. And in the waiting, you may have started to wonder if you've missed your chance. But I want you to hear me. What is meant for you will not pass you by. We serve a God of perfect timing, a God who is never early, never late, but always right on time. And if he has not yet brought something to pass in your life, it is not because he has forgotten you. It is because he is preparing you. The waiting is not wasted. It is in the waiting that faith is built. It is in the waiting that character is forged. It is in the waiting that you are made ready to carry the blessing that is coming. Think of Abraham, promised a son when he was old and gray, but years passed before Isaac was born. Think of Joseph, given a dream of greatness, but sold into slavery and thrown into prison before he ever stepped into his calling. Think of Moses, wandering in the wilderness, thinking his purpose had passed only to be called to set a nation free. If their promises had come too soon, they would not have been ready. And if the delay had caused them to turn away, they would have missed the incredible things God had in store for them. And what about you? Maybe you have grown tired of waiting. Maybe you have been tempted to force something before its time. Maybe you have allowed discouragement to convince you that your moment will never come. But I want you to know that just as the stars do not question when to shine, just as the ocean does not question when to rise, your life is unfolding according to a divine design. You do not have to strive. You do not have to chase. You do not have to fear that you have been left behind. What is meant for you will come, not a moment too early, not a second too late, but at the appointed time. So be still. Trust the process. The roots are growing deep, even if you cannot see them. And when the time is right, you will rise. There will come a day when you look back on your life, and in that moment you will see it all clearly. The twists and turns, the trials and triumphs, the moments of despair that gave way to hope. And when that day comes, you will understand that nothing was wasted. Not a single tear, not a single struggle, not a single waiting season, because through it all you were being shaped, molded, prepared for something greater than you could have imagined. But today you stand in the middle of the story. Today you may not see the full picture. Today you may still have questions that have no answers, prayers that have not yet been fulfilled, roads ahead that seem uncertain. And in these moments, the choice you make is everything. Will you live in fear, believing you are alone in this vast universe? Or will you trust that there is a plan unfolding, a hand guiding you, a purpose that is still being revealed? You see, faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting even when you don't. It's about stepping forward even when you can't see the whole path. It's about knowing deep in your soul that you were not placed here by accident, that your life is not a random series of events, but a part of something far greater than yourself. Think of a tapestry. If you look at the back of it, all you see are tangled threads, knots, a pattern that makes no sense. But turn it over and there is a masterpiece. That is what God is doing with your life. Right now, you may only see the mess of threads, the tangled moments, the times when things didn't seem to come together. But one day, the tapestry will be turned over and you will see the beauty of what was being woven all along. So do not let fear hold you back. Do not let doubt steal the wonder of what is unfolding. Do not let the weight of the unknown keep you from stepping forward in faith. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are not wandering without purpose. Every step, every season, every moment is leading you somewhere. And when you reach the end of your journey, when you stand before the one who has been with you through it all, you will see the full picture. You will see how the struggles made you stronger. You will see how the waiting was never wasted. You will see how even the darkest nights were filled with His light. And you will know beyond any doubt that you were exactly where you were meant to be all along. So keep going, keep trusting, keep believing. The story is not over yet. And when the final chapter is written, it will be more beautiful than you ever imagined.